Wow, we all miss those days, don't we? That's just some Lionel Messi stuff. There's been a slight possibility of Messi's return to Barcelona, but in this video we're here to talk about, is that actually possible? Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, consider subscribing. It really means a lot to me. For a Messi move, there must be three things that must be considered, or most likely for any football move, three things must be considered. But Messi's just a special player, isn't just he. There's been 80% chances on some sources that Messi might return. But what are those three things that are necessary to put in place for Messi to actually return back to Barcelona? We'll talk about them. So let's get to the business of the day. Number one, does the player wish to come back to Barcelona? So some sources that are actually close to Lionel Messi actually claim that he has no doubts that he would also like to return, considering how he left the club, not in a really good way, considering how long he served the club and how the club served him. So some sources that are close to him say Messi doesn't mind coming back to the club. So that's a massive boost when the player himself is interested in coming back to the club. On my scale, that comes up all the way to a 70% if you ask me. So Lionel Messi coming back to Barcelona, him by himself personally, he wants to come, so that's 70% on my scale. Point number two is that, can Barcelona financially afford him? We all know finances are a very big thing when it comes to football with the financial fair play rules, although there are ways to bend around it. But Barca right now are in a handicap situation. Barcelona are locked up, if you know what I mean. Well, you know, the pandemic hit them really hard and all of that. You might not really be interested in. But Messi's price at this point weighs from around being free all the way to £15 million. By some sources, being free, considering if he doesn't sign a new contract, or if he signs a new contract, how much PSG might eventually want to let him go if things do turn around badly. So, but being free really changes nothing, and if he does a price, that really changes a lot. But considering Barca's financial situation, it's not just about Messi being free. They need to at least offload some of the talent that they have, and also face a massive wage cut that some of their players are already having in the team. We all hear sources that Ansu Fati is most likely one player they're looking for to offload, Ferran Torres and maybe Rafinha, but that's just sources. If you ask me, suggestions, they should offload each and every one of those players they've mentioned, maybe except Rafinha. But if you should ask me who else they should add into offloading, I think they should offload Frankie de Jong. Since Manchester United were interested in him, they can get him. I think they should offload Frankie de Jong. That would just be a really good deal if they can get. So Frankie de Jong should be added to that, Fati and Ferran Torres. And you know, it's going to come down a little bit. For players that should face a massive wage cut, I think Sergio Busquets, time coming to an end, maybe they could just pay him off and forget it. Jordi Alba, long time server, but I mean, things are really turning around. I think Alejandro Balde should be prioritized as the number one left back. He's young, guys, more athletic. Jordi Alba, don't mistake me. I'm not writing his career off, but I think he should take a wage cut, or maybe should just even leave the club. So that's a huge one. And Frank Kessie as well should either leave the club or take a wage cut, because to me he's just that guy that's in the team that they're not really making good use of, because back at AC Milan we also the guy had prospects, but right now he's not being delivering. So that's one way and one factor that Messi can come back to this Barcelona. If all of that can work out, that gives them a 40% chance, in my opinion, that Messi might just squeeze into the team financially. Last but not least reason of why Messi can actually return to the Barcelona team is PSG. Are they willing to let him go? Are they simply willing to let him go? So we know Messi hasn't signed a new contract, and we know back in the days, Barcelona used to make about 200 to 300 million just about Messi being in the club. Financially and revenue, we all know PSG have been benefiting from Messi, whether you like it or not, whether you've seen it with your two eyes or you're not. We all know PSG have been benefiting from Messi just being in their team. Despite the money they're giving him, they know something is coming back, or else financially they could be in ruin despite how they do earn their money, which we're not going to delve into. You all know that. But he hasn't given them the Champions League. That's one part of the story, because they signed Messi with the hope of winning the Champions League, since he's the second Mr. Champions League after Cristiano Ronaldo, but he hasn't given that to them. And you might not even know if Messi might just want to give that to them, or if he's just tired, or if PSG are not going to persuade him, because PSG are definitely good persuaders. So Messi and PSG, are they willing to part ways? That is the major factor that is involved in all of this. That's just one of the three. But considering that, if that works out, Messi's and PSG are ready to part ways, PSG are ready, that gives them an 80% chance on that scale, on that side of the story, of Messi coming back to Barcelona. So that's just PSG letting him go. 80% chance for me. But why has Messi not actually signed a contract? Is it about money? We don't know. Is it about uncertainty? Or is it about everybody simply wants Lionel Messi? That's a question I'll leave you guys in the comments to answer. So please just answer them.